Welcome back to the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and digital transformation.
Welcome back to the Peggy Smedley Show. We are coming to you live from CES 2019, and I'll tell you, it has been a great morning of wonderful broadcasting. And right now, I'm with Duncan Humphreys, who is the head of broadcast for the UK and Europe Stream TV networks. Duncan, welcome. It's wonderful.
Thank you very much
to have
indeed.
You here. So
happy to be here.
There's a lot going on. You and I were just talking about how loud it is to be here at CES, right?
Yeah, there's some of the guys have gone big on their speakers this year.
I thought there was a noise limit or something, but I don't know. I think
if you
this
come
year,
and park by our booth, there can't be a noise limit. It's just so noisy.
I'll tell you, but you know what? You and I are going to go right through it. We're going to talk about some great things. Let's talk about the amazing thing that's happening in 8K and beyond. I think that what you can do with 8K, right? And
yeah, I mean, I think Stream TV is a technology company, and we've developed a use case for 8K, which actually uses the pixels to create depth as well as resolution. So by that, the simplest way to explain it is glasses-free 3D, but it's sort of more than that. It's dimensionalizing television.
But let's think about this. We were just talking about 4K last year or the year before, and now we've gone to 8K. So somebody who's watching, listening goes, really? Are we really talking 8K? I mean, is it something that really is happening?
I think you have to look at the industry that supports all of the panels and all of the brands that sell the resultant iPads or televisions.
So help us take a step back, if I would, not to interrupt, but help so someone who really doesn't understand when we talk about 4K, 8K, really what does that really mean, so they get a basic understanding of it.
The whole industry has always relied on increasing resolution at a sort of a predetermined rate. So in simple terms, we went from black and white, then we went to color, then we suddenly had SD, standard definition television. That moved to HD, then HD has moved to 4K. Now, the gaps in between those moves have been concertinaing. The brands and the underlying manufacturers of the panels that support the brands require themselves to bring out new products every 2 years or so, or else everything concertinas out and they go out of business. So there is a huge desire to move to 8K because they have put on the last generation was 4K, and now they've had every single piece of nuts and bolts that they can screw onto 4K. So you've had high dynamic range, you've had OLED, QLED, quantum dot. There's just been so much new bits of technology they put onto it, and they've run out of stuff to put onto 4K. They need to go to 8K for a reason, for a business reason. The problem lies in that us as humans, we can only really see sort of 3.5 to 4K at a normal viewing distance. If you get very close to an 8K screen, say under 2 feet, you can see the resolution difference, but you don't watch television at that sort of distance. So basically, anything that is normal for the home, so I would class that as a screen of 85 inches and under, be that a tablet or a phone or your PC, you're not going to really get an enormous or any benefit in between 4K and 8K. What you will get with our technology is the ability to display the dimensions within a TV. So we call it technically using the Z space, but that is the bit that goes in and out of the television. We understand that most easily as 3D, but it's not necessarily totally has to be 3D.
So that's where we've come. So when everybody hears that and they're not totally confused by it, that's the transition we need to make to start understanding, because I think people start getting real confused by it. So there is some real benefits then to say to go to 8K in the home then.
I think there's lots of small benefits without our technology involved in it. I think with our technology involved in it, there are big benefits.
Oh,
so
of course. You're not going to tell me there's not
I'm
now.
not going to tell you it's bad.
Right.
But it does give you a kind of wow experience that you're not used to, and it's not the kind of the fairground ride.
Like
3D.
what? Give me some examples. So I'm sitting here going, what's that real potential?
It's like you see real depth in the picture. You can see depth in the picture. You can see
now
get a sense of space.
they've been showing some things we've been seeing, like in your booth. And some,
absolutely. We've got demonstrations there, and we've obviously got, we can't show here, but we've obviously got some movies and things. So if you see, the obvious example is Avatar. Because that was the most famous 3D movie. If you see that, it is just a joy to watch on our screen. You're not asked to wear the cumbersome glasses. You don't have to, have to sit with
dreadful
things. But what you can do is just sit there and be immersed. Get more immersive into a film or a TV show or whatever.
So will it be applicable for any size TV eventually? Is that what's going to happen?
Any size TV, from we have demonstration mobile phones to 65-inch TVs on the booth. We are also looking to use a certainly new technology to maybe move to make cinema size screens as well.
So let's talk about what's going to happen, because what is and this has been the big discussion, I think, here, that we're saying, what is going to be the applicable, I guess, I don't want to say applicable, but what is going to be our content choice size? Is it going to be a phone that we're used to?
Well,
is it a tablet? I mean, we're changing. So if you're talking 8K in time, how are you going to consume content? You and I both don't know what that
Well, we don't
send
send 8K, so that's the beauty of what things. Sending 8K is a very difficult thing.
But I mean, when we think about it, viewing content, what's the form factor
the
going
form
to
factor.
be? That's what I'm saying.
I think that's pretty well decided, that the younger generation are watching, and that younger generation is getting older, but they're watching, they're consuming a vast amount of content on their tablets.
But will it be a tablet by the time, in a year from now, 2 years from now? What's it going to be?
I think if you look at what's happening in tablet technology, I would say that you're looking at tablets getting larger. We started off with
small, remember?
Yeah, and now they're 15 inches. They're the size of a PC monitor.
Because Generation X is getting older, and so they're getting larger.
Yeah.
Okay. But the generation that's born essentially with a phone in their hand, is it going to get larger again, or is it going to get smaller for them?
I think it will get. I think there'll be you've seen me walking around with my earpods in and things. I think you're probably going to move to that. That the device will be sort of housed somewhere on your body. But the accessories, i.e. the earphones and they'll be external. So I rarely get my phone out to read emails. Really, the rest of the time I have my little earpieces in and wander around with those in. So you don't use the phone in real terms as a phone. I'm dialing numbers is occasionally I do, but so I think that's I think technology is going to move rapidly that way, and I think maybe you'll look at things like mobile devices, etc., changing slightly. You've got foldable screens coming out now, so.
But they've been talking about that for a while,
They've been talking about that for a while, yeah.
So, are we then? I guess I'm trying to think about. Is bandwidth then an issue, or any of the things that you're talking about? I'm trying to think about how this all is.
I mean, the bandwidth is a significant issue. I mean, because even if you're, shall we say, even if you're trying to send 4K at the moment, you still need a download speed if you're doing it over the top, i.e. from one of the sort of over-the-top providers. You still need sort of 17 megabits per second download speed to get 4K. If you don't get that, invariably you're getting HD, 1080p. Okay. So bandwidth is a problem. 5G will certainly help that, and that's for sure. But in reality, I think it's a fact that the average download speed in the US of over-the-top content is between 6 and 8 megabits per second, and you know, something dramatic has got to change to sort of up that hugely. There is, you know, obviously if you live in a city, you know, you've probably got better choice, but once you get out into the countryside and out there, it you know, there isn't the kind of huge bandwidth that we're using. Where they hope 5G will come in, but you know, we shall see. But still, if you're trying to send an 8K frame, an 8K picture, you're going to be sending 4 times 4K. And so that is a big amount of data. Now, obviously, clever compression will come in and everything, but, you know, it's still going to be a big file.
So you're still really talking about a lot of hurdles to overcome with all these things that they're doing. I mean, a lot of frustrations for consumers, for individuals who want to actually watch movies or whatever.
Yes, I think there are frustrations, and most of that is to do with their broadband supplier or their supplier of their internet supplier, because it's the speeds that people can get hold of. You know, I'm lucky in I've got a small office just outside of London. I'm lucky there. I've got vast amounts of download speed. I go back home and I'm barely get 5 megs, so you know, I'm sitting there and, you know, just reading a book is a task.
So I mean, so are we then saying, well, you and I both described wearing 3D glasses was horrible, so are we going to have to do that to compromise, you know, to watch a really...
No, I mean, our technology is glasses free, so I mean, our technology, wear no glasses. I think and also our format, because we are using the pixels for 2 reasons, both resolution and depth. You know, what we send at the moment is 1080p with a depth map attached, which is the depth map is the kind of like metadata that tells the picture to behave as a 3D picture. But I've sort of lost my train there, but so that we don't have huge bandwidth problems. Now, we may well, as time goes on, we may well go into 4K, but I don't think we'll ever go, you know, beyond 4K. And the other thing is that our technology is we got ubiquitous. It fits on, you know, give us more resolution, you just get more 3D or more depth in the scene. So eventually you'll get huge amounts of sort of a huge experience from the two.
Looking at it going forward, when you look at where the technology is going to be headed, and we see this, do we see providers kind of coming together to kind of trying to solve some of these hurdles that you just described?
To a degree, yes, but I think the big problem right this very second is that the industry is really, you travel around all these booths, and all right, there's LG and Samsung and all, there's, you know, and Hisense, and, you know, there's a million one, and you go on and you look at their screen technology, be that a mobile phone or a large screen TV or anything in between, and when you look at it, it's not a lot different to anyone else has got. You know, there isn't, you know, they've all got pretty much the same product. There is no differentiator in the market. And if you look at mobile phone sales, I mean, we used to, or I certainly did, used to do 1 SIM cycle and you would be, you know, upgrading your phone. Now that's moving to 2, sometimes even 3 SIM cycles. I mean, I've had this, you know, my battered up phone that's in my pocket, I've had that a long time now. You know, way longer than I would before, because actually I go along and do I want to either engage in another long-term contract or spend, you know, nearly £700-800 or for Apple £1,200 to buy a new device, when I actually don't see a huge amount of difference. There's small differences.
Yeah.
And so I think that the industry is crying out for something new, you know, and whether it's our technology or not, I mean, that's you know, what we'd love to, we hope it will be, but the industry is calling for something new. And when you talk about content, you know, everybody always talks about, you know, the first thing they say is movies, and then they go sport, but you know, you've got to think of gaming and apps, and you know, so on your phone, if you had the ability to send you know, a cute emoji that actually popped out of people's screens, you know, that's, you know, you're going to get the youngsters are going to be doing that all the time.
So you think something like, because you just said gaming, but even like gamification, might that change something?
Yes, I think it could do. Yeah, I do.
Because that's a really big area. I mean, beyond the gaming area itself, but that really drives a lot of market, right?
Yes, I mean, look, the market is driven by, I think if you look at the market right now, there is a lot of confusion out there. I mean, I think people go into a Best Buy or the UK equivalent or the European equivalent, and they walk in and they're just assaulted by televisions that all look the same, or mobile phones that all look the same. Tell me the difference. So invariably, you either buy, I'm hooked to a particular fruit-based thing, but I started that 20 years ago and I can't break it. But really, I look at the kind of the competing technologies at half the price, and I go, what difference is there? And I think there's a lot of issues with all of that.
So based on what you guys are doing, what's the goal and hope for partnerships that you would like to see?
Well, our big partnership that was announced is a sales and marketing agreement with BOE, Beijing Optical and Electrical, who are the largest the largest manufacturer of underlying panels. So if you rip you have a Hewlett-Packard PC there, or your Sony television, or underneath it, you'll find one of 5 or 6 panel manufacturers, because the industry actually doesn't, not every brand makes its own panels. There is a couple that obviously do, where they're well known. So we have a partnership with them. They can sign the panels, their 8K panels to us. We bond our technology onto it and put our electronics on it, give them back the 3D kit, as it's referred to, and they then sell it to their customers. So that and their customers are everyone, just about everybody in the marketplace.
Great. All right. Well, Duncan Humphreys, head of broadcast for UK and Europe Stream TV Networks. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much, Peggy.
All right, viewers, we are out of time, and we're going to take a break for a little while, but we are going to be back at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. So go and check out any past podcasts, or check out connectedworld.com, or tweet at me at ConnectedWMag. As always, this is the Peggy Smedley Show, the podcasting voice of IoT and digital transformation. Remember, with great technology comes great responsibility.